Oh, hey, good morning. Good morning, my fellow fantasy football freaks. Good to see you all. Welcome to your Thursday BnB. Sorry I didn't have one last week. I had a whole show ready to go and edit in the can. Then my phone decided to be a little bitch and erased the whole goddamn thing. It's fucking crazy. You're lucky I still got hair in my head. I nearly pulled it all out. Anyway, this week I'll make up for it by having an extra awesome show. I mean, I guess I don't really decide that. That's up to you. So anyway, grab your breakfast burrito, your cup of coffee, and come snuggle up with the Tyrant. Stay in your nice warm bed, snuggle up with me. Nah, I'm not actually there, I know. Unless you've got like some big stuffed figure made in my effigy. And then you're just fucking weird. Okay, now I'm kind of weirded out by this idea that one of you has a big ass Tyrant doll laying next to you. You know what? I'm just gonna pretend we didn't go there and move on, alright? But if you do got something like that, at the very least, click my thumbs up and hit subscribe and sign up with me on Patreon. Hey, it's the least you could do. And don't forget, hashtag Tyrant Gang. Put it up everywhere you go. On Twitter, on Facebook. Tag it in a public restroom. I don't give a shit. Let the world know. Hashtag Tyrant Gang. I'm gonna have a contest that has to do with that. You'll find out more in the coming weeks. But anyway, this morning, I decided to go a little simple with the breakfast, okay? I didn't go chefing it up this morning. Just a nice, simple breakfast. Like when we were kids, going to school, we'd get up in the morning. Our moms didn't make us shit, right? Unless you were some silver spoon bastard. And your mom made you bacon, eggs, and toast every fucking morning. Nah, not us hard-working motherfuckers. We had to pour our own bowls of cereal, make our own toast. I'm going old school this morning, because I still have coffee. Because I'm an adult after all, and I gotta wake the fuck up. And I got it in the gun mug, because we're gonna start off this morning with a bang. Okay, now I'm thinking about those weird people with the Tyrant dolls again. We gotta move on. Got some toast with jam here. I'm on a break from keto, so I can actually enjoy this. Jesus, it's been like months since I've had toast with jam. Nothing like the real deal. As for the cereal, I'm going with a little bit of a fruity number. It's supposed to be like a Whole Foods version of Fruit Loops. But it doesn't really taste like Fruit Loops. You guys remember berry kicks? You know, like you'd have like the little kicks with the little balls. Except the berry pieces kind of look like little berry clusters. Anyway, it tastes like that. Yeah, it's like that mixed with rabbit food, mixed with my entire paycheck. That's kind of what it tastes like. Don't worry, I'm not going to freak out over weird heads or weird dogs in my bed. So none of this should spill. Should be okay. Some of you who are watching this show for the first time are like, what the fuck is he talking about? I gotta go watch some of these other episodes. Hey, do what you want. Watch this one first. Go check out more. I ain't gonna stop you. But anyway, let's move on to the business at hand. Because tonight, the New England Patriots are going in to Atlanta to face the Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons, on Thursday Night Football. So, of course, all the Falcons fans are going to have to deal with the commentators droning on and on about how they blew the second half of that Super Bowl a few years ago. Anyway, yeah, you're never going to live that down till the Falcons win one. And I don't think it's happening this year because it's been a screwy year for Falcons fans. It's got to be that curse of Michael Vick back again. Like the ghosts of those fighting dogs are nipping at their ankles, fucking their shit up. Anyway, we've wasted enough time with weird fantasies and the crazy bullshit in my head. We gotta talk about the benches and bumps for tonight's game. Who are you gonna bench? Who are you gonna bump? And what about my sleepers and busts? Hey, it's a good thing you tuned into this show, because I cover all of that for you. That's right, because it's time for benches and bumps, benches and bumps, benches and bumps. And my bump of the game for the home team Atlanta Falcons is, well, no one, actually. I mean, unless Patterson plays, there's no one I really want to start from this game. I mean, not to a full-on bump anyway. Yeah, I can hear you all now. Oh, great one, Tyrant. You're bumping no one, you lazy bastard. Oh, really? Lazy? On a fantasy show where I'm doing it from bed and having breakfast? Oh my god, no way. Seriously though, it's not like I'm gonna tell you to start someone just for the sake of telling you to start someone. Unless you got Patterson and he starts, I'm staying away from the Falcons this week. And the Pats love getting rid of the best guy on each team, so even if Patterson does play, I'm worried about him. But either way, the Falcons this season have been harder to squeeze fantasy points out of than juice out of a dry lemon. And none of the matchups for him look very good at all. Not this week anyway. I mean, I've got a sleeper and I'll get to that later on. but there's no one on outright starting this week for the Falcons. The New England defense is good, and the Falcons offense has been complete garbage. Honestly, if you can afford to start other players from other teams in better matchups, you better go that route, because anyone's better than starting the Falcons this week, which leads me to my bump of the week for the Pats, the Patriots defense. Yeah, that's right, the New England defense has been on a tear for the last 4 weeks, averaging 14 fantasy points per game in that span. And coming from a fantasy defense, you're loving that. And tonight, they're going to get the Dirty Birds of Atlanta, who have played so awfully bad on offense, they made the Cowboys look like the 85 Bears last week. Tonight, I think the Pats are going to shuffle their way to fantasy glory, at least on defense. The Falcons have given up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing defenses. And with no Calvin Ridley and an injured Cordero Patterson, Kyle Pitts will likely be the main target for that offense. And you know Coach Belichick is going to shut him down. I don't see a lot of points being scored in this game, especially not from the Falcons. And on a short week, when they've been playing like dirty bird ass against the 2nd highest scoring fantasy defense, so I'm giving the Pats D a bump up this week and get some of this going here. You know, it's not that bad. At least it doesn't cut the roof of your mouth like some cereals do. Like, what's up with that shit? They put like little shards of metal in there. I once watched this video where this guy was showing that like the iron in some cereals is actually like filings of iron, like little iron filings. And he actually separated them out with a magnet and shit. It's fucking crazy. Don't eat Wheaties. I'm telling you. It's filled with actual shards of iron. Go look it up. Anyway, little food for thought for you. Eh? Next up, the sleepers for this game. And for the Falcons, I think Wayne Gallman could be a sneaky play. Not enough to start him over studs. But if you're in a very deep league, or you're trying to hit on a contrarian DFS play, Gallman could serve you well. He can actually put up fantasy viable performances that no one seems to notice. He's like the Rodney Dangerfield of fantasy running backs.
He don't get no respect at all.
Alright, that was a terrible Rodney Dangerfield. I apologize for that. Usually I do better. But if you think that impression's bad, how about the impression that the Pats D has been doing of a run-stopping defense? Yeah, lately, it's not been very good. Last week, they made Ernest Johnson look like, well, Nick Chubb, letting him pop off for nearly 23 fantasy points. Overall, they're allowing the 13th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Listen, I'm not saying you go out and drop or sit your best flex player, like say Melvin Gordon or something like that, just to pick up and start Wayne Gallman. No, that would be fucking stupid. But if you're in a deep league and you need a desperation play, Gallman could be a solid dude. There's nothing like real bread with real jam when you've been on a keto diet for months. Crazy. Washing it down, bang, bang, bang. Breakfast in bed and fantasy football. Life is great, Aiden. Now on the other side of the ball, I actually think Mac Jones could have a good game tonight. At least a serviceable bye-week fill-in if you're a Matthew Stafford owner. Or like if you're in a 2 QB or Superflex league. Or maybe you're just really unlucky with QBs, I don't know. Either way, he could be a viable fantasy asset this week. The Falcons are bottom 3 when it comes to stopping opposing QBs from scoring fantasy points. And Jones has gotten better in his decision-making and his accuracy as the season has progressed. At this point, he may be the QB Rookie of the Year over Lawrence and Fields. He's made connections with his pass catchers, he shows poise and command over the offense, and he's put up some valuable fantasy production already. This is a softball matchup, and Belichick likes to play hardball, so expect Mac Jones and the Pats to come on hard and fast. Yeah, that's what she said. To me. To you, she said soft and ineffectual, like the Falcons D. So look for Mac Jones to score big and unleash a mighty load of fantasy points onto your fantasy squad this week. So give him a start if you can. I know. I'm in bed. I'm talking about huge loads. But don't worry. There's no action going on down here right now, alright? Relax. Some more of this cereal, though. It doesn't taste at all like Fruit Loops. And now it's gotten soggy. I don't know. Not that great. Normally I like soggy cereal, though. I know, fucking weird. But like the last bowl of Raisin Bran with all those like crumbs and shit, and it gets all soggy with the sugar. I don't know, I love it. Any of you feel the same way? If you do, hit me up in the comments and let me know. Let me know I'm not the only one. Anyway, now we go to the dark side of things. By that, I mean the benches and the busts. And my first bench for this game is, well, not really even a bench at all. But it's more like an entry. A new entry. In my shit list. Because Matt Ryan, I'm tired of your bullshit. I'm sick and tired of being dicked around by your erratic and unpredictable production. Earlier this season, you were on the cusp of shitlisting, but you finally put up a good performance when expected, so I held off for a little bit. But then you put up a monster game against the stout Saints D. In a week, everyone had you sitting, and we thought, alright, maybe he's unsittable this year. So then we start you in a juicy matchup against the fantasy fiesta of the Dallas D, bottom 5 at defending against the QBs. But all you can muster up is 2 fucking fantasy points? 2! Fucking 2! After I had you as the QB bump of the week, and you make me look like a jackass? Getting only 2 fantasy points and pissing in my fucking face. You know what happens, Matt Ryan, when you piss in my face like that, huh? You know what happens, Matt Ryan? I'm gonna tell you what happens. Matt Ryan, you just made the list. Just like Jared Cook, even if I put you down as a bench, I ain't talking about you. If you noticed last week, in benches and bumps, I had Jared Cook as a bench tight end. Didn't say a word about him, because I don't talk about guys on my shit list. Want more insight? Sorry. Jared Cook's a bum, and Matty Ice is an ice cold bum too. So leave him on your bench. As for the Pats, I'm sitting Ramondre Stevenson. I'll tell you why. I know. He was my number 1 waiver wire pickup this week, and I stand by that. What, have I lost my mind or something? Nah, I lost my mind a long ass time ago. Nothing to do with benching Ramondre Stevenson. So Damian Harris is coming back off of concussion protocol, and while I don't think Stevenson's being sent back to the doghouse, he's definitely not going to be getting the lion's share of those touches. Harris is. He's coming off of a concussion, so I don't think he's going to be eased in or hobbled or anything like that. Harris is going to come back and get his usual workload. So while I don't think Stevenson goes away entirely, I don't think he's going to have enough touches to put up fantasy viable numbers. Now, I still think he's a fantasy lottery ticket for the season. But in this game, and until we see some more clarity in his usage, I ain't starting him. I gotta see him carve out a consistent role while Harris is healthy. But with Harris back and Bolden possibly coming back, plus J.J. Taylor getting in the mix, it's just too many mouths to feed in that backfield. I mean, I think Stevenson should be the top guy in that offense, but he ain't right now. He's gonna be competing for too many touches tonight, so I'm staying away from all of that. Likely you picked up Stevenson recently, so you've got some other options. I'd go with those this week, if you can. Exercise those options and leave Stevenson on your bench. And now for the story of how I lost my mind. What? You don't care? Alright, fine. We'll move on to the bust alerts this week. And I've got a bust alert out for Kyle Pitts. Just yesterday, I was having a conversation with the Fantasy News Today crew, and we were discussing whether or not we think that Kyle Pitts is a bust this season. Thing is, he's the tight end 7 on the season, surprisingly. So, maybe not quite a bust. I guess that's just the nature of the beast for tight ends. They're just so unreliable, unless it's Travis Kelce, or George Kittle, or Mark Andrews. Even Waller the Baller's been up and down this season. So even a bust candidate is a top 10 guy as far as tight ends are concerned. For instance, even with 2 scoreless games on the season, Mike Gesicki is still a top 10 tight end. So no, I wouldn't say Kyle Pitts is a bust for the season. But for this game, he could be. With Ridley going out, we expected this budding star to have a breakout game, but we've yet to see it. He just hasn't delivered. And tonight, he gets a Pats D who's ranked 2nd overall at stopping tight ends from scoring fantasy points. In fact, only Dalton Schultz and Austin Hooper have gotten over 8 fantasy points against this team. That is brutal. I mean, even giving him the benefit of the doubt, a 10-point ceiling is not something I want to fuck with. No chance you're starting Pitts in a 10-team league, because there's 10 to 12 guys I'm starting before him. So on a short week of rest and a bad matchup, if you can afford it, you might want to put Pitts on your pine this week. You know what? This shit's too soggy for me to finish. Fuck it. But I'm gonna finish this toast though. Bread. It's so simple, but oh so good. Strawberry jam is the best. I know some people really like grape. I'm all about the strawberry myself. Gotta hit the spot. There we go, all finished. Other than that soggy bullshit. Anyway, finally, my bust alert for the Pats goes to all of their wide receivers. See, look at them right there, with the little heads. Isn't that adorable? All the cute little heads lined up. Aw, got all the little tiny heads lined up in a row. I know that sounds pretty fucked up out of context, like I'm a headhunter or some shit. Hey, I guess they don't call this section bust alerts for nothing, right? Get that cricket the fuck out of here. What the hell? Where's that coming from? Get it out of here. Thank you. Anyway, the reason I have the entire Pats wide receiver core on bust this week is because they're completely unpredictable in terms of which one is going to score enough points to be fantasy viable for your squad. Is there going to be a fantasy valuable performance from one of these wide receivers tonight? Yeah, probably. But trying to figure that out is like a cat lady trying to figure out which one of her babies took a crap on her rug. Yeah, good luck with that. If someone could figure out the formula that the Pats are using to figure out who they're going to utilize in the offense week to week, that person would win a Nobel Prize. Fuck cold fusion. Figuring out the fantasy viability of the Pats offense is the greatest scientific challenge this world knows. And if you think you have it figured out, think again, bub. Jacoby Myers finally got a touchdown after 2.5 years, so that's not bankable. Nelson Aguilar has always been weird and random with his fantasy production, no matter what team he's played for. And Kendrick Bourne's identity is impossible to figure out each week. Trash or treasure? No way to discern between either one. That offense is frustrating as fuck to figure out. I mean, good luck trying to do it. If you gotta start one of those guys, I guess do it. But I'd go with the more solid option if you got one. Hopefully, you can just avoid this headache entirely and start someone else. Or you can take a chance and get butt fucked by Bellatrix. Your choice. Alright, so that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you liked it, hit that little thumbs up there for me. We need 10% likes. So look at the views, then look at the likes. Are the likes less than 10% of the views? Yeah? Then hit that little button there for me. A little thumbs up. I definitely appreciate it. And while you're down there, hit subscribe if you haven't. Because if we hit 700 subscribers before the end of the month, I'm going to have something awesome for you all come the holidays. What is it? I ain't telling you. You're going to have to find out for yourself. So hit subscribe and maybe we'll find out. But you know I'm good on my promises. And if you don't know, ask around. They'll tell you. Hit me up on Patreon too if you want one-on-one fantasy advice, exclusive content, all that shit. It's all super cheap for what I give you, so check it out. Got the link down there in the description. Take a look. Thank you as always for your support and viewership. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck this week. Come back and see me tonight as I do a full breakdown for this game exclusively for the Fantasy Football Edge. Check out the Fantasy Football Edge Facebook page. Link in the description below. Then come back Saturday morning for the benches and bumps for the rest of the games. Until then, have a great morning. Have a great day. I'm out. Peace.